Jeff, the Spirit Warrior here. Hadn't uploaded anything for a while, so I figured a little update might be in order. Some people watching during the spring might have remembered me planting onions in here and building another box for onions. They did pretty well in this box. Got them in fairly early. So I harvested them all. I planted about a pound in this bed here. Probably got about 15 or 20 pounds of tennis ball sized onions. So not bad, that's to be expected. So that was pretty good. This bed here, I've still got some to harvest. Probably be another, maybe 3-4 pounds. This one I got in late. The front half did okay. Back half kind of withered up. But that's okay, I'll have plenty of onions. But seeing as how summer's over, I replanted this. Hopefully we get some rain. Look how dry that dirt is. The lettuce blend for some late season lettuce. The way the long falls that we've been having, I've been able to pick lettuce and greens pretty much almost through November, which was unheard of 10 years ago this far north. It used to be, middle of September, you get a good hard frost, kill everything. Maybe you could keep a few things alive another few weeks, and now, I've kept some greens going until early December in the last few years, which, like I said, really unheard of. So this back half, I still got to clean up a lot of grass and stuff coming up in it. Probably plant. So that's, lettuce is probably a little more than a third, so I'll probably plant another third of spinach. And the final third, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with it. So over here in the main garden, doing the same kind of thing, some fall planting. Got some peas just coming up there. There's some peas there that I've been picking off from. For peas, I honestly, I've only been planting the edible pod kind. Just the tremendous amount of work for what you get from shell peas, and these peas here, if you let them grow, they're still shell peas. If you want to plant these and pick a bunch as edible pods and let the rest go and shell them for regular peas, you can do that. But like I say, a lot of work. Got a lot of weeds and grass coming in, but cucumbers did phenomenal this year. As you can see, I have the addition of a fence that wasn't there before, and that's because I had a critter getting into my cucumbers and tomatoes. See a few cucumbers I missed when I was out here earlier, but I've gotten a tremendous amount of cucumbers, even though I probably lost a couple of dozen early on for something coming in, putting holes in them and taking bites out of them. One culprit which I took care of was that rogue Rhode Island red chicken you've seen running around in my other videos. And I've had chickens run around loose in the garden before, and yeah, they get into stuff a little bit, but not like that one. But cucumbers did good. See, my string beans are kind of overtaken now and coming to their end, and yeah, they were okay. Last year I canned like 20-something jars of string beans, and this year, I might have enough to fill 4 or 5 jars, and plus what I've ate, and that's pretty much it. But pretty much due to the weather, and not much we can do about that, right? So pulled my carrots, planted twice as many as I had last year. Basically got probably the same amount as last year. Again, you know, I had a lot of trouble with germination. I tried every trick in the book, and you know, I'd get them coming up, and then next thing you know, I'd be trying to keep them watered, and we'd get a couple of good hot days in a row, and I was busy doing other things, and you know, they'd just shrivel up. So I kept planting, and like I say, I got as many as I did last year, so you know, at least I didn't go downhill. I got some lettuce I planted a couple of weeks ago coming up there, and my original lettuce I'm letting go to seed. Try and save some seed from it. Like I said, you know, weather hasn't really been with us this year. I mean, if you're living in a place where you've got all the amenities and you've got water and sprinklers and irrigation in your garden, you probably did okay. Here's my peppers. Plants grew great. Only just now, get in there. Only just now am I able to get blossoms to set, and some peppers are starting to grow. But yeah, all summer long I've just been watching these plants grow, and the big beautiful plants, and you know, that hot dry weather, the blossoms just shriveled up, fell off, and once it stopped being hot, then we had basically monsoon-like storms, high winds. You may remember the yellow squash I planted around my apple tree. I did so to keep the weeds down, and for the most part I did, but as you see, these lamb quarters busted right through anyways. But done really good. Actually, I'm going to experiment with canning summer squash. Probably can it with some tomato sauce. There's a bunch of various size ones from overgrown. Those will probably go to the chickens. The little tiny ones still starting, so those are still going strong. So been pretty happy with those. My raspberry bushes looked like I was gonna have probably 8 or 10 quarts of raspberries. They didn't like that dry weather. Good share of them shriveled up. I got maybe 2 quarts, so I'll do something with them. They're in the freezer right now. Tomatoes just finally starting to get some red ones. Plants really went wild. Never been a huge advocate of pruning tomato plants. I just pretty much stake them up and let them go, but this spot I was in ended up being so rocky that it was really difficult to get stakes in, so they more or less been growing like vines on the ground, and not overly conductive to you know, your tomatoes not rotting sitting on the ground. So, but I'm still getting a ton. I've got them, you know, partially turned ones all over my windowsill. I've been eating them every day like crazy, along with cucumbers. Here's my other cucumbers. Same as the first ones, you know. Had some pest problems at first between the fence and caging up that rogue chicken. Pretty much solved that. This is a new variety I just tried. Oh, I can't think of the strain. It's an heirloom strain, dual purpose, more a pickling cucumber, but they're great eating fresh too. So I'll be using those again for sure. Really like them. Got some another fall crop here. Got some Swiss chard going, and so that's coming right along. I'm actually going to side dress these with some topsoil mixed with cow manure, and mulch them down with hay once I get the rest of the weeds out of there. A lot of you probably wondering about the Three Sister Garden I made a big deal out of. I'm gonna really have to rethink the concept. It actually, the concept in itself worked out great, but you know, all those big rainstorms with the high winds pretty much decimated the corn. There's a few standing. They'd knock them down, I'd stand them back up. I thought about putting posts in the middle of each hill and tying them up, because I've done that with sweet corn that's gotten knocked down before and had it work all right. But honestly, I had so much going on. Otherwise, you know, I didn't get to it, and I think the damage now is irreparable. The corn that's still standing that does have cobs on it, the cobs are huge. So if nothing else, get my seed back and then some. I'll probably keep the very best cobs for seed. I'll let them dry, and you know, any smaller ones I'll probably you know, grind and make something out of. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video, maybe I won't. Just to you know, just to say I did, I guess. But you know, next year's another year, and I'll try it again. Probably in a different spot, maybe. As far as corn goes, it's been a tough year for that. Basically lost all my sweet corn to critters. Last year I canned I don't know, 1.5 jars of sweet corn. This year I haven't even had a cob to eat fresh. So not a good corn year. You know, this update isn't the most positive one, but not the most negative one either. For the most part, everything's done pretty well. I'm gonna have to get a little creative. A homemade gate there. Not the best, but it works. I didn't make a good gate because I'm actually want to rebuild this fence next year a little more permanently, and put an actual gate, and probably you can see the door on the far right of that barn. Probably make it so I can get in there from the outside and from there. The new chicks I got this spring should be starting to lay eggs pretty soon, getting big. I ended up relocating the rogue chicken in here with them. The reason she was running around loose to begin with is my old chickens that she was in with, the rooster kept beating her up. So it's either let them kill her, put her in a stew pot, or let her out loose to fend for herself. So we went with let out loose, and up until garden season that worked out pretty good, but she's integrated in with this new bunch and doing pretty well. My new rooster. Smile, buddy. Yeah, my old rooster over here is getting jealous. So anyway, figured everybody was wondering what was going on. I'm still optimistic. The Three Sisters garden, even though the corn and the beans also didn't really seem to do too much. The butternut squash, I got butternut squashes all over the place out there. They're always delicious, and they're good keepers. Butternut squash is, yeah. Butternut squash is a good keeper. I mean, you more or less can pick them, and I just stick them in banana boxes in the back room where it's cool, and they'll keep for months like that. I've tried canning it, which works good, but you know, I like them, you know, fresh better, so you can keep them a few months and try to eat them up. I've had them last all the way till early spring, just in the back room in a box. And the back room's got no heat, but it won't freeze, so it's pretty cool out there, but not cold. I keep potatoes and my onions back there too. Always works out pretty good. Like similar to a root cellar, only it's not in the cellar. I've got a cellar. I'm going to use as a root cellar at some point. I've experimented with it a little bit. Had quite a bit of trouble with mice getting into the stuff. But I tried, not this year, but last year, I put beets down there, and I put them in I just left the dirt all over them. And I put them in 5-gallon pails and drilled a bunch of holes in the top. And they actually stayed amazingly good for an amazingly long time like that. So that might be an option right there. I was going to do the same thing with carrots this year if I'd got enough, but basically what I got, fit in the bottom of my refrigerator in a box. So there they are in there. Probably have them used up in, I don't know, 6 weeks. But Spirit Warrior, still chugging along, still growing. Winter's around the corner, so it'll be firewood and then maple syrup again, right back to the beginning. The cycle goes round and round. So hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's going fat in the winter. Living here in the Northland. Spirit Warrior signing off.